The first ones I want to show you are schedule insights. These are really easy for us to set up. All it takes is a schedule, and we accept P6, Microsoft Project, as well as Ask the Power Project schedules. And then we'll connect to your systems where you're tracking forms and issues and checklists. And we have out-of-the-box connectors for things like ACC and Procore to make it really easy to integrate your data into our system. Once we've done that, we run what we call our auto-linking mechanism. It's an AI tool that we've developed to link all of the data in your forms and your issues and your checklists to all of the activities in your schedule. And then once we do that, we can look for any type of things in your forms or your issues that might have an impact on your schedule, and we raise that to users as insights. And I'll show you an example of that here. So I'm going to pull this drop-down menu here, which is our filters. What you're seeing is a running list of all of the insights in this project that fall within the scheduling insights bucket. And maybe I want to look at just submittals. So I'm going to filter this list, and it's going to show me just the insights related to submittals, which I'm seeing now. So I can scroll through these and see the different insights. And maybe I want to click on one of these and find out a little bit more about it. So I'll click on this one here. And this is an insight about electrical rough-in and a submittal about illuminated signage. So what's happened here is Slate has looked at the schedule. It's identified this activity, electrical rough-in, that is probably related to this submittal AOR illuminated signage. So as you can see, the system's found that because it's an illuminated signage, probably needs some electrical rough-in, and it's linked these two together. So here's my activity. If I click on that, I can view a few details about it. And then here's some details about my submittal that we've linked to. Now, because the due date on this submittal is after the electrical rough-in is supposed to start, you can see that by the dates here, the planned start and the due date, Slate's identified that this could be a risk to the project. So the idea is that since this submittal is likely not going to be closed out by the time that electrical rough-in needs to start, that means the electrical rough-in activity may not start on time and is very likely not to start on time. So we raise that to our users as an insight and give them the chance to intervene in that, hopefully speed up the review process of that submittal, or perhaps resequence their schedule to avoid any sort of delays that might be happening to this electrical rough-in activity. And we've done that all through that auto-linking mechanism that we've built. Within this UI, the user can take a few different actions. We can give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down. That helps to train the model. If for some reason this wasn't really helpful, maybe you want to give it a thumbs down, or if it was really helpful, maybe you want to give it a thumbs up. That just gives feedback to the model that we deploy within each customer's account as to what's useful and maybe what's not. If it's really not helpful at all, you can just delete it and it'll be removed from your feed. Or if you want to send this to somebody, you can click the email icon here, and this will send it out to users in your project. So you may want to send this to someone who's in charge of managing that submittal and let them know, hey, it's really important we get that submittal closed out so that we don't run into any conflicts with that activity. And we do this for any type of form that you connect to the system. So you'll see here we've got submittals, RFIs, issues. We're not limited to those form types. We can do those for other form types as well. Really, any type of form type where you're documenting issues and key workflows, we can look into those and look for any of those conflicts. And the way I like to think about this is you have your form system where you're managing all these forms and checklists and issues, and they all have workflows associated with them. And then you have your schedule where obviously it's one big workflow. And what we're doing is looking for the intersection of those workflows, something that's typically not documented, because we know if something happens with a submittal or an RFI, it could impact the schedule. And we want to find that as quickly as possible to give our users a chance to intervene and avoid any delays to their schedule. We also have another type of insight in the schedule insights bucket called weather insights. And what we do here is we look at the schedule and then we add weather profiles to all the activities. And that happens automatically when you upload a schedule. We use our AI engine to go through, read all the schedule activities and find ones that are likely sensitive to weather. The types of things we're looking for are rain sensitivity, temperature sensitivity, or wind, something like lifting. And then we look at the forecast for the next week. And if we find that there's rain forecasted next week and an activity is sensitive to rain, we'll raise that as an insight to let the user know, hey, you could have some rain this week that might impact your ability to complete a task. Here's an example of pouring concrete, giving a chance for the user to perhaps, replan their week so that they can avoid any of these conflicts or any costs that might come with delaying an activity or not being able to start that on time. And then we roll all that up into an impact analysis, which is right here. So I'm going to click on the impact analysis, and you'll see overall Slate is forecasting a 19-day delay to this project. If I'd like, I can expand this and I can see what that looks like on an activity by activity basis. So what I'm seeing here are all the activities in the schedule where Slate has forecasted some type of delay on it. And I can see the delay that's been forecasted and the impact details. And this is just summarizing all that data I showed you in the feed. You can see here's an activity that has a delay impact coming from an RFI. Here's one coming from RFIs, submittals, and weather. So we roll that up at an activity level, and then we roll it up at an overall project level, account for the float, and give feedback to the user as to what the overall forecasted delay is for the project. So I can also filter this list by critical tasks if I click this button right here. And this is going to show me all the tasks in the project which have a forecasted delay that are on the critical path. Gives me a chance to focus my efforts and just focus on the critical path activities. I could also just view the activities that have the largest contribution to the delay. So now I'm viewing the top 5 contributors to the delay to the project. So if I want to see what activities have the largest delay, maybe that's where I want to focus my efforts. I can see that in this view right here. So those are our schedule insights. The next type of insights I want to show you are our lesson learned insights.